On February 4th, 2019, Canadian Pacific Train 301 was proceeding westward to Vancouver when 99 cars and 2 locomotives derailed at mile 130.6 of the Lagan subdivision between the upper and lower spiral tunnels near Field, British Columbia. The train crew consisted of a locomotive engineer, a conductor, and a conductor trainee. The 3 crew members were fatally injured. The train was a distributed power unit grain train composed of 112 covered hopper cars and 3 locomotives. The 3 locomotives were positioned at the front, middle, and rear of the train. Following the derailment, only 13 cars and the tail-end locomotive remained on the tracks. The lead locomotive and some of the cars derailed on a curve prior to a bridge. The lead locomotive came to rest on its side in a creek. A number of derailed cars came to rest on an embankment. The remaining cars, including the mid-train remote locomotive, piled up behind. Preliminary indications are that a loss of control of the train occurred. The train had been stopped with the air brakes applied in emergency at Partridge, the last station prior to the entrance to the upper spiral tunnel. A change-off between crews had occurred at this location as the previous crew were closing in on their maximum hours of service. The occurrence crew had just arrived and boarded the train, but were not yet ready to depart. The train had been stopped on the grade with the air brakes in emergency for about 2 hours when the train began to move on its own. There were no handbrakes applied on the train. The train accident accelerated to a speed well in excess of the maximum track speed of 20 miles an hour for the tight curves and steep mountain grade, and the train derailed. The locomotive event recorder data from the lead locomotive has not yet been obtained, as the lead locomotive was severely damaged in the derailment. Some data has been recovered from the tail-end remote locomotive, and work is underway to obtain data from the mid-train remote locomotive. The investigation will determine how and why the loss of control took place. There are currently 2 TSB investigators at the accident site. 2 investigators are coordinating efforts from the Calgary office. The team is augmented by investigators from the TSB Engineering Lab and the TSB Human Factors Division. On site, we will continue to collect data from the accident site, collect any available electronic data from the 3 locomotives. We'll conduct interviews, examine and photograph the wreckage, and identify components for further examination by the TSB Engineering Lab. In addition, we will examine weather conditions and the railway's winter operating plan, train operations specific to the Field Hill, operational policies for mountain grade train operations, railway training specific to the reliability of air brakes in extreme cold temperatures, the maintenance history of the rolling stock, and regulatory requirements. As with all our investigations, we will examine all the information before drawing any conclusion. As such, it is too early to say what the causes and contributing factors of this accident might be. It is important to note the severe cold weather conditions that investigators and other first responders are working in. This territory is among the most challenging railway territory in North America. Investigators and others are working hard under challenging circumstances to fully understand what went so terribly wrong. The TSB's investigation will determine causes and contributing factors of this accident. Concurrent investigations are being conducted by other agencies and for other purposes. Other investigating agencies include the BC Coroner's Office and Transport Canada under an extended jurisdiction agreement with the Employment and Social Development Canada Labour Program. The TSB will work with these agencies to ensure that those affected, including the next of kin, are provided with information about this accident and the next steps. Thank you very much. The loss of control was a situation where the crew members can no longer maintain the designated track speed. At this time, we still haven't got an exact number of how fast they were traveling. The track speed through that area is 20 miles an hour. Once we get a chance to review the locomotive event recorders information, we'll be able to determine the speed they were going through that area.
And that's 20 miles per hour?
20 miles per hour, yes.
We've also heard talk about a runaway train. Any comment on that? Could it be described that way?
Well, we're looking at it, it's, our preliminary indications are saying that it's right now a loss of control. And our investigation will progress, and we will look for every indication of how that train was handled going down the hill.